Kashishi Guru Gaur Chandraju ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivratakacharya Astata Sati Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivratakacharya Astata Sati Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission morning class. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chitta Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvekam Savadutam Parijana Savitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Madhyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Jai Siparika Shishi Guru Gaur Chandraju Jai Giraju Ki Jai. Continuing to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the Adi Lila, first chapter, the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. We're now on text number 112. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Jaya Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Vishnupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. We're on page text 113 actually. Yuga Manvantari Gari Nana Avatara Dharma Samstapana Kare Adharma Samhara. In the ages and millenniums of Manu, he appears as different incarnations to establish the principles of real religion and vanquish the principles of irreligion. In the ages and millenniums of Manu, he appears as different incarnations to establish the principles of real religion and vanquish the principles of irreligion. So those incarnations are expansions or manifestations of Shri Dakshai Vishnu. The Lord Vishnu, who lies in the ocean of milk, incarnates himself in various forms to maintain the laws of the cosmos and annihilate the causes of disturbance. Such incarnations are visible in every Manvantara, that is, in the course of the reign of each Manu, who lives for 71 times 4,320 years. 14 such Manus take their birth and die to yield a place for the next during one day of Brahma. Devagani Napaya Jahara Darashana Shiroda Katire Jai Karena Stavana. Unable to see him, the demigods go to the shore of the ocean of milk and offer prayers to him. Purport: the denizens of heaven who live in the planetary systems, beginning from Svarloka, cannot even see Lord Vishnu in Svetadri. Unable to reach the island, they can simply approach the beach of the milk ocean to offer transcendental prayers to the Lord appealing to him on special occasions to appear as an incarnation. Tabe avatari kare jagata palana, ananta vaibhavatara nahika ganana. He then descends to maintain the material world. His unlimited opulences cannot be counted. Se Vishnu Hayajana Angsang Sera Angsa, Se Prabhu Nityananda Sarva Avatamsa. That Lord Vishnu is but a part of a plenary portion of Lord Nityananda, who is the source of all incarnations. Report. The Lord of Svetadweep has immense potency for creation and destruction. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, being Baladev himself, the original form of Shankarshan, is the original form of the Lord of Svetadweep. And of course this Lord, Sri Dakshai Vishnu, is appearing in each universe. And there are inconceivable, we can't conceive of the number of universes. Se Vishnu Shesha Rupe Gare Nadarani Kaha Ache Mahi Shire Hena Nahi Jani. The same Lord Vishnu, in the form of Lord Shesha, holds the planet upon his heads, although he does not know where they are. He cannot feel their existence upon his heads. I always think of this verse many times. Listen, the same Lord Vishnu in the form of Shesha, and not the Shesha, holds the planets upon his heads, though he does not know where they are. He can't feel them. All the planets. It's like, oh, I don't know, they're somewhere. Sahasra Vistirna Jana Panara Mandala Suryajini Manigana Kare Jalamala. His thousands of extended hoods are adorned with dazzling jewels which surprise the sun. And they're so dazzling, the sun is like, oh, what is that dazzling light? Panchashat Koti Yojana Prithvish Vishtara Jara Ekapane Rahe Sarasapa Akara. The universe, which measures 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. And that's in the Bible. I remember it. I remember being a little girl hearing that the world is like a mustard seed. I thought, what is a mustard seed? I've never even heard of a mustard seed. But they're very small, very tiny. The universe, and here it's saying the universe, which measured 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. This is an Antashesha. The Lord of Svetadweep expands himself as Sheshanag, who sustains all the planets on his innumerable hoods. These huge global spheres are compared to grains of mustard resting on the spiritual hoods of Sheshanag. The scientist's law of gravity is a partial explanation of Lord Shankarshan's energy. The name Shankarshan has an etymological relationship to the idea of gravity. There is a reference to Sheshanag in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where it is said, Yamuhura sistiti janma samyamam tribir bihi nam yam anantam rushaya naveda siddhartam ivakvachit stitam bhumandalam murda sahasradamashu. O my Lord, the hymns of the Vedas proclaim that you are the effective cause for creation, maintenance, and destruction. You're the one that is putting that into effect. But in fact, you are transcendental to all limitations, and are therefore known as unlimited. Ananta means unlimited. On your thousands of hoods rest the innumerable global spheres, like grains of mustard, so insignificant that you have no perception of their weight. And then the Bhagavatam further says, Yasyedam Shiti Mandalam Bhagavato Nantamurte Sahasrashirsha Ekasmin Eva Shirshani Driyamanam Siddhartha Eva Lakshate. Lord Anantadev has thousands of hoods. Each sustains a global sphere that appears like a grain of mustard. Seta Ananta Shesha Bhakta Avatar Ishwarera Seva Bina Nahi Janaya. That Ananta Shesh is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but the service to Lord Krishna. The devotee incarnation of Godhead. So that is a very nice way to remember the position of Lord Balaram. He is the personality of Godhead in the mood of a devotee and of Godhead. So, and all of the expansions of Lord Balaram, of course, have that mood. Everyone is serving Krishna. And in the 10th canto it's described how the son of the guru, Sandipani Muni, the guru of Krishna in his boyhood, he went to the Gurukula, as is traditional. So he went there and the son had been taken away and had died. And so the Lord asked when he was leaving, what shall I give you? What dakshin do you want to ask from me? And the wife of Sandipani Muni said, can you bring back our dead son? I know you are very extraordinary. Maybe you can do that. So finally they went to see Lord Vishnu. And Vishnu said, well, I just took him away so that you would be forced to come and see me. Because I wanted your darshan. So we have to see that the whole of all existence is serving Krishna. Krishna is the absolute reality. Everything is existing to serve him. Even all the incarnations, including the first expansion, Lord Baladev, and would speak of Srimati Radharani. They're all, and their full expansions and the Jiva Shakti, everything is naturally meant to serve Krishna. He is the absolute reality. What else will we serve? Something that's not the absolute reality? I mean, this is, and that's, like just a reasonable, rational understanding of that. But deeper and deeper, when the heart comes into play, then that is not even a necessary idea. It's true, but that is not necessary when the heart becomes awakened. Any question about that? Seta Anant Shesha Bhakta Avatar Ishvarera Seva Bina Nahi Janaya. That Ananta Shesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but the service to Lord Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha has described Sheshanag as follows, quote, Sri Anantadev has thousands of faces and is fully independent. Always ready to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he waits upon him constantly. Shankarshan is the first expansion of Vasudeva, and because he appears by his own will, he is called Swarat, or fully independent. He is therefore infinite and transcendental to all limits of time and space. He himself appears as the thousand-headed Shesha. In the Skanda Purana, in the Ayodhya Mahatmya chapter, the demigod Indra requests Lord Shesha, who is standing before him as Lakshman, please go to your eternal abode, Vishnu Loka, where your expansion Shesha, with his serpentine hoods, is also present. After this dispatching Lakshmana to the regions of Patala, Lord Indra returned to his abode. This quotation indicates that Shankarshan of the quadruple form descends with Lord Ram as Lakshman. When Lord Ram appears, Shesha again appears himself from the personality of Lakshman. When Lord Rama disappears, Shesha again separates himself from the personality of Lakshman. Shesha then returns to his own abode in the Patala regions, and Lakshman returns to his abode in Vaikuntha. This is a very fascinating thing. As we were hearing, all of these incarnations also have their own abode in Vaikuntha, all of them. But they're appearing. And when they appear, they are non-different, of course, from Shri Dakshay Vishnu, and appearing from that agency. But they, sometimes others are appearing with them in the same form. There are others present also. And in this case, Anantadev. Anantadev came along with Lakshman. And then Lakshman returned to Vaikuntha. And Anantadev went back to the, you could say Patala, meaning the lower part of the universe. The planets of Patala, meaning the spheres of lower, experience for the living entities. They're not touched by that. But as we know, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, divine perspiration is filling up half the universe. And Anantadev is lying there serving Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Well, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is lying on his many hoods. Very astonishing. The Laghu Bhagavatamrita gives the following description. The Shankarshan of the second group of quadruple forms appears as Rama, taking with him Shesha, who bears the global spheres. The Shankarshan of the second group of quadruple forms appears as Rama, taking with him Shesha, who bears the global spheres. There are two features of Shesha. One is the bearer of the globes, of the planets, and the other is the bedstead servitor. In other words, Vishnu is lying down on Shesha. The Shesha who bears the globes is a potent incarnation of Shankarshan, and therefore sometimes also called Shankarshan. The bedstead feature of Shesha always presents himself as an eternal servitor of the Lord. So even though they're both Ananta Shesha, Ananta Shesha has two different moods. One is as the Lord himself, and the other as the servitor of the Lord. Sahasra Vadane Kari Krishna Gunagan, Niravadi Guna Gana Ananta Nahipana. With thousands of mouths, he sings the glories of Lord Krishna. But although he always sings in this way, he does not find an end to the qualities of the Lord. Sanakari Bhagavata Shune Jana Mukhe Bhagavan Eraguna Kahe Bashe Prema Shuke. The four Kumaras hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from his lips, and they in turn repeat it in the transcendental bliss of love of Godhead. The four Kumaras living in Tapaloka, Janaloka, Siddhaloka.
Those are the heavenly planets.
Yeah, they live in the fully mystical position. But they're hearing the Bhagavatam from Sheshanag, and then they're repeating that in divine love. But their position is very high. Like we have these forms that are mainly made out of water. Right, the earth planet is a very watery planet. And our bodies consist, a lot of it is of water. But etheric bodies are mystical. They're consisting of ether. So they have no restrictions like our bodies. Our bodies are severely restricted. But they're always hearing what is being spoken by Anantashesha, the Srimad Bhagavatam. Chatra Padukashaya Upadanabhashana Arama Avasa Yagya Sutra Singhasana. He serves Lord Krishna. Jai Sripati Kashishi Guru Gaurachandra Ki Jai. He serves Lord Krishna, assuming all the following forms: umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. So he is all that paraphernalia. And Lord Balaram is also in charge of all of the paraphernalia, the environment of Vrindavan. Lord Baladev is providing all those things. And Anantashesha is also providing. He's not just providing, but he is assuming those forms. And we're also told the mridanga, the kartals, all the arti paraphernalia, the throne of the Lord, all these things are expansions of Lord Balaram and must be treated with great reverence, kept very clean, always treated very well. So he's assuming the forms of the Lord's umbrella, his slippers, his bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. So the Lord himself is wearing the sacred thread. Ata murti vedakari Krishna sevakare Krishna sheshatapanya sheshanamadare. Thus he is called Lord Shesh. He has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. Shesh meaning the end, the final stage. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. Takes many forms for the service of the Lord, and thus he serves the Lord. Seta ananta jana karyaka kala ena prabhu nityananda jane tarakela. That person of whom Ananta, Lord Ananta, is a kala, or a part of a plenary part, is Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who therefore can know the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. Impossible. Eshapa pramane jani Nityananda tattvasima tahake ananta kahi kitana mahima. From these conclusions we can know the limit of the truth of Lord Nityananda. But what glory is there in calling him Ananta? From these conclusions we can know the limit, some idea, the limit of the truth of Lord Nityananda. But what glory is there in calling him Ananta, or unlimited? Attava bhaktera vakya mani satyakari Shakala sambhavi tante jagte avatari. But I accept it as the truth because it has been said by the devotees. Since he is the source of all incarnations, everything is possible in him. Saying that, his being Ananta, that is not as such a great thing for him. Saying, what is the glory in calling him unlimited? He's so much more than that. Avatare aveda chechane purve che Krishna ke keho kaho karimane. They know that there is no difference between the incarnation and the source of all incarnations. Previously, Lord Krishna was regarded in the light of different principles by different people. Keho kahe Krishna shakshat nara narayana Keho kale Krishna hoy shakshada vamana Some say that Krishna was directly Lord Narayan, and some call him Lord Vamanadev incarnate. So this is a very nice point. I think I'm going to stop here and we can discuss this point tomorrow. Because the Lord is one and the same as his expansions. No one can put it backwards that Krishna is an expansion of Vamanadev, because they're one and the same person. So he's saying that everything is possible. So the point is, Krishnadas is saying that, Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying that. What is the glory in calling him Ananta? Ananta is an expansion of a plenary expansion of Balaram. They say, wow, he's Ananta Shesha? He's saying, well, I mean, of course, that is extremely wonderful, but what? But he's saying, but, because the devotees say that that is glorious, it is glorious, but we are also aware that Balaram is the original, but at the same time, his expansion is the same as himself. So it is glorious. He is glorious in this form. And, there's a discussion about this, very nice discussion. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jaya, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jaya, Srila Om Vishnupada A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jaya. Coming to Shri Shri Upadesamrita by Srila Rupa Goswami, with commentaries by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and others. Haribol, so page 355, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhagavan Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Haribol, worldly persons think that they will attain good fortune, 355. Worldly persons think that they will attain good fortune only when they are able to cross over the world, and renunciants of the world who engage in the practice of meditation think that experience of the subtle material plane is pure experience of spirit, but it is not a deep experience at all. Do you follow that? So worldly persons, they're thinking they're going to reach happiness in the world, and the renunciants of the world who engage in meditation, they're the yogis, and they're thinking that by subtle mystical experience they're really experiencing life. But Srila Saraswati Thakur is saying that's nothing. Leaving this conception, the highest expression of service to Bhagavan in the conception of Parakya, literally in others, can be seen in the gopis. Like practitioners of meditation, the gopis are not prepared to serve Krishna from a distance. But the gopis' meditation is natural and completely spontaneous. These 5 types of rasa can exist in Goloka and in Braja on earth. There are 2.5 types of rasa in Vaikuntha: Shanta, Dasya, and half of Sakya. There is reverential friendship, but not confidential friendship. In Srila Rupa Prabhu's 9th instruction, the highest place of bhajan has been established through comparative analysis. Vaikuntas janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavat sorry Vrindaranyam udarapani lavanat tatrapi govardhanaha Radha Kundamihapi Gokulapate Premamrita Plavana Kuryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevang Vivekina Kaha. According to the conception of a maintained maidservant, Palyadasi, of Sri Radha, we must always reside on the bank of Sri Radha Kunda. There is no conception of Lord Narayan's mother and father. According to the conception of a maintained maidservant, Palyadasi, of Sri Radha, we must always reside on the bank of Sri Radha Kunda. There's no conception of Lord Narayan's mother and father. In the conception of cause and effect, there is no cause of the supreme cause. He is unborn. In Mathura, however, the Lila of the unborn's birth as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva can be seen. So, this is similar to Goloka Namini Jadami Tale Chatasya in the Brahma Samhita, beginning with Goloka, and then going down and going back up again. So beginning with here, with Radha Kunda, that he's saying, according to the conception of a maintained maidservant, Palyadasi of Sri Radha, we must always reside on the bank of Radha Kunda. And then now going to Vaikuntha, going down to Vaikuntha, there's no conception of Lord Narayan's mother and father. And meaning there's no conception of mother and father in the service of Lord Narayan. In the conception of cause and effect, there is no cause of the supreme cause. So how can he have a mother and father? He's unborn. In Mathura, however, the Lila of the unborn's birth as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva can be seen. The unborn's birth. In Vaikuntha, Bhagavan is simply unborn, but in Mathura, by manifesting his Lila of birth through the influence of his inconceivable Shakti, the unborn Bhagavan's position as Bhagavan, the possessor of all glory, is even more wonderfully manifest, more deep, more love, more affectionate. Thus Mathura is higher than Vaikuntha. Krishna Chandra takes birth in the pure heart of the sadhaka. Such a pure heart is also Mathura. Many people think Mathura is only figurative or subjective, but it is not. Attempting to make it only figurative or subjective is to repudiate Krishna's inconceivable Shakti. It's not an idea. It is a high position of divine truth and Lila. By Krishna's inconceivable Shakti, Mathura appears with Krishna in the earthly plane. Is there any question about those points?
No.
The place of Krishna Das's dance, the place of Krishna's rasa dance, Vrindavan, is even higher than the place of Krishna's birth, Mathura. Shriman rasa rasarambi vangshivatata stita karshan venusvaner gopir gopinata shriyestunaha. May Gopinath, the beautiful inaugurator of the rasa dance, who stands on the riverbank at Vangshivat and attracts the gopis with his flute song, bestow auspiciousness upon us. In Mathura, Krishna is an immature boy. At the sight of the rasa dance, he is an adolescent. At the sight of the rasa dance, Krishna danced in circles with all sorts of different gopis. Radhikaji came and saw that the specialty of her service could not be maintained in the midst of this congressional dancing circle. Just, this is beautifully being expressed here by Srila Saraswati Thakur. Radharani has no mundane feelings, like the jealousy that we will experience in this world, that painful, miserable feeling of being the possessor and then losing one's possession is not the same as that at all. Radharani, in the midst of so many, cannot fully satisfy the Lord, as she is her own exclusive service. We don't understand anything about that, but this is what is being explained. Radhikaji came and saw that the specialty of her service could not be maintained in the midst of this congressional circle dancing. So she left the site of the rasa dance and came to Govardhan. Then the group leader, Chandravali, also arrived there. Krishna sat in a cave in Govardhan, and when he saw Chandra and the others, he showed them that he had 4 arms. Tulsi, Dhanishta, and other gopis in Radha's party deceived Chandra's messenger, Shaibya, and sent Chandra to Shakistali. Therefore, Srila Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, the foremost of Sri Rupa's followers, has offered his obeisances to Sakistali from a distance. After deceiving Chandravali, Radha's followers brought Shamasundar to Radha Kund. This is more detail of this story than we have previously known. The caves in Govardhan, in which Radha and Krishna's highly confidential amorous play takes place, are higher than Vrindavan, the place of congressional rasa dance, or the whole group. The group. Amazing. Yasyan Madhava Naviko Rasavatim Adaya Ratang Taro Majje Chanchalake Nipata Balanat Trasai Stuvatyastata Swabistang Panamadade Bahati Sa Yasmin Mano Janavi Kastang Tannavada Dampati Patibhuvam Govardhangam Nashrayet. Who would not take shelter of Govardhan, the young couple's intermediary, where the Manasaganga flows, and where Madhava the boatman took lovely Radha in his boat and collected his desired fare after being praised by her out of her fear of the boat sinking in the unsteady water. So this is a pastime where the Lord, disguising himself as an ordinary boatman. It's a very sweet story. And you know, the Braja Gopis, they would take their milk and milk products and sweets and rasgullas and kheer and you can't even conceive of what was in those pots being held on their heads, and they would take them across the Jamuna for selling. And so they went to the boatman, and he's asking so much money. And they said, no, no, no. And then finally they settled on a fare. And Krishna's taking them across the boat. And then suddenly he says, oh, there's a leak in the boat. You guys are too heavy. You have to... Oh, no. He stops and he says, I'm very, very tired. I can't row anymore. You need to feed me some of those sweets. And you have to remember the Jamuna was manifesting herself as very wide. And so they're there in the Jamuna. And the boatman won't row anymore because he wants, so they're feeding him so many sweets. And then he starts rowing again, and then he says, "Oh, you are so heavy. You have to throw those sweets in the Jamuna. They're too heavy. The rest of the pots." So they had to throw the pots in the water. And then he's rowing. So you're still too heavy. You have to take off all of your bracelets. You have so much jewelry on it. Weighing the boat, we're gonna sink. And so they threw all their jewelry in the water out of fear. And then he said, "Oh, your garments are so heavy, they're so, they're sewn." And then they said, "Well, if this boat is so heavy, we're going to throw you in the water." And then he just started rowing again. They don't know he's Krishna. And then the Lord said, and then there was a big storm. He organized a big storm, and this storm is rocking the boat and throwing the boat around. And then finally, the Radharani was thrown against the Lord, and she thought, "Oh, this is Krishna," and she was embracing him. And all the brothers, Gopis, are saying, "What are you doing, Radha? Why are you embracing this boatman?" And then Krishna showed who he was, and then he took them on a beautiful boat ride all around Manasaganga lake. It's a very sweet story when the Lord is cheating them, and it is all full of nectar. Krishna is cheating, is lying, is all of it. Everything has its original form in this sweetness of the Lord. So this is what's being referred to here. Who would not take shelter of Govardhan, the young couple's intermediary, where the Manasaganga flows, and where Madhava, the boatman, took lovely Radha in his boat and collected his desired fare as a boatman, after being praised by her out of her fear of the boat sinking in the unsteady water. Holding his head, Shamakunda, holding on his head, Shamakunda and Radhakunda, which are superior to billions of Ganges rivers. Govardhan Hill is more worshipable than even Mahadev. Here, surrounded by hundreds, Mahadev being Shiva, here surrounded by hundreds of Sakis who are worshipable to Lakshmi and embraced by Krishna's sweet fragrant arms, Radhika, Krishna's beloved, dances in the month of Madhu, the sweet early spring. Thus, a second site of the Rasa dance exists in Govardhan. Radhakund is even higher than Govardhan. This place is the plain of the full flood of the nectar of Krishna's prema. Sri Rupa Manjari, who knows the heart of Gaurasan, Sri Gaurasundar, has instructed that service at Radha Kunda, which is the highest of all aspirations in the heart of Sri Gaur Hari, is the pinnacle of service itself. For members of the school of Nimbarkacharya, members of the school following Chandravali, and anyone who thinks that they are situated in Madhura Rasa, but are devoid of Gaur Bhakti, Sri Radhakunda is a completely incomprehensible and unattainable. Therefore, Srila Das Goswami, Srila Das Goswami Prabhu, the foremost of Sri Rupa's followers, has said, so are you following with this so far? What is being said here? There's so much gradation, even within Vrindavan. How high is Govardhan? And higher is Radhakund. This is astonishing for us. We don't know, have no experience of these things. But still, something is touching us through divine sound, coming from the holy lotus mouth of our Guru. Yeah?
So it's just the pinnacle of service itself.
Service itself. non-different from Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Srila Das Goswami Prabhu, meaning Raghunath Das Goswami, the foremost of Sri Rupa's followers, has said, Brajabhuvi Mura Satro Prayasinam Nikamaya Ashulabam Apitunam Prema Kalpatumam Tam Janayati Vidibhumau Snaturuche Priyam Yat Tat Ati Surabhirata Kundam Evasrayo Me. That is from Stavali. Radha Kunda quickly appears as a wish-fulfilling tree of prema in the hearts of those who bathe within it. A wish-fulfilling tree of prema difficult to attain for even Krishna's lovers in the land of Braja. May Krishna's dearmost Radha Kund be my shelter. So he is very qualified to speak this prayer. And when we went to Radha Kund with Srila Gurudev, I told about this before, but it was an astonishing day for us. He suddenly left from Govardhan and said, I'm going to Radha Kund, anyone who can come, come. So we just ran out into the road, it was still dark out, and trying to find anything on wheel. And we got there, and Gurudev took us and spoke about many, many things there. But the main feeling that I felt about that was the Samadhi Mandir of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Very warm, very, very beautiful how Gurudev was speaking. Well, just his whole, just being with him there was so a really beautiful thing. Raghunath Das Goswami's Samadhi Mandir there, and he's giving so much, anyway, I don't know anything, but anyway, then he took the water of Radha Kund and sprinkled it on all of our heads. And still, we're just like newborn babies, hardly with our eyes open. But still, if they want us to have some feeling, or not, maybe not feeling, but some connection, then that can happen. That is their power. And even if it's a small connection, but even small is very, 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 much greater than the entire cosmic manifestation. Altogether, cannot compare to even the smallest connection that is being given to us by our Guru Varga. Radha Kunda quickly appears as a wish-fulfilling tree of prema in the hearts of those who bathe within it. A wish-fulfilling tree of prema difficult to attain for even Krishna's lovers in the land of Braja. So, even higher than the rest of Braja. May Krishna's dearmost Radha Kunda be my shelter. So because that is the prayer of Das Goswami. And he can make that prayer very perfectly. Srila Rupa Prabhu in his 10th instruction has ascertained through a comparative analysis who is the greatest among all the devotees. Karmibhya parito hare priyataya vyaktamya yurgyaninas Devyo Gyani Vimukta Bhakti Parama Premaika Nishtastata Devyasta Pashupala Pankajadrishasta Vyopi Saradika Presta Tadvariyam Tadiya Sharashi Tamna Shayeka Kriti. All types of pious karmis who are engaged in virtuous acts are better than sinners and performers of impious acts. Performers. Again, Brahma Gyanis who have given up the 3 modes of material nature are in all respects better than pious karmis. Pure devotees such as Sanak, who are free from Gyan and established in Bhakti, are more dear to Krishna than all types of Brahma Gyanis. Pure devotees such as Narad, who are fixed exclusively in prema, are more dear to Krishna than are the pure devotees such as Sanika. And the gopis of Braja who have given their lives to Krishna are more dear to Krishna than those who are great pramic devotees like Narada. And Sri Radhika alone is Krishna's dearmost among the various gopis. Like Sri Radha, Radha Kund is also extremely dear to Krishna. Souls who are more fortunate than all others reside at the supramundane Radha Kund with supramundane consciousness and engage in bhajan to Sri Krishna during the 8 periods of the day, the eight parts of the day, in other words, 24-hour service. The highest place in all of Goloka is Sri Radha Kunda, the supreme shelter for those who relish Madhura Rasa. The plains of Bhu, Bhuva, and Sva are places of enjoyment for selfish householders who desire piety. The 4 places above those, Mahajanatapa and Satya, are places of enjoyment for non-householders. They're for the mystics, for the brahmachari persons. Interim brahmacharis enjoy in Maharloka. Avowed brahmacharis enjoy in Janaloka. Vanaprasthas enjoy in Tapaloka, and sannyasis enjoy in Satyaloka. We see in Gita, Abrahma bhuvanali, Abrahma bhuvanaloka, punar avartinojuna. O Arjun, from the abode of Brahma, Satyaloka, down, the residents of every plane take birth again. So even those who are avowed brahmacharis or vanaprasthas, who are also like married brahmacharis, married celibates, that they go to the upper planetary systems, but they will take birth again. That is not transcendental. So all these things are given by Srila Rupa Goswami very carefully to us. All these different degrees of, different degrees of these different planes of existence, which are planes of consciousness. Matter and consciousness cannot be, there's nothing outside of consciousness. So the temples wherein Mahaprabhu is being worshipped, and the conception of our Guru Varga, the Rupanuga Guru Varga, are being worshipped and spoken of and adored and preached. And that Srimati Tulsi Devi, who is worshipped by everyone. All these things are going on. And talk, which is mundane, and especially grossly mundane, is not good here. We have to keep the atmosphere very high and beautiful. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Upadesamrita ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Any questions from anywhere? Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Staterasita Sri Srimati Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sadhu Swami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Ma Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari.
Jai Srimati
Jai
Lekha.
Shri Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Bol.